Ever wonder why some people seem to carry sunshine with them, even when it's raining? How do they manage to stay optimistic while the rest of us feel like we're drowning in stress and negativity? Is there really such a thing as being too positive? And most importantly, how do we tap into that kind of energy without forcing ourselves into toxic positivity land? Well, we're diving into something powerful today. Something you already have, but you might not know exactly how to use it to its fullest. We're talking about positivity here. We're going beyond the typical look on the bright side advice and exploring how positivity can transform not just your mood, but your entire life. Spoiler alert, it's not just about thinking happy thoughts. But before we start, let me tell you that in this episode, we're diving into the kind of vocabulary that helps you reframe your thinking and make positivity a real part of your life. From ideas like mental GPS and cognitive reframing to phrases like small wins and forward is always possible, we'll explore how to use these words in practical, everyday ways. So stick around as we unpack these powerful concepts and get ready to apply them to your own journey. Now let's get real. Life is messy. Challenges, frustrations, and setbacks are part of the deal. Positivity isn't about pretending those things don't exist or walking around with a fake grin plastered on your face. It's about shifting how you respond to them. At its core, positivity means seeing opportunities in obstacles and solutions in problems. Not in some delusional way, but with a mindset that helps you move forward instead of staying stuck. Think of it as your mental GPS. It doesn't erase roadblocks, but reroutes them when you hit one. Here's the thing. The way we talk to ourselves plays a huge role in how we experience the world. Ever notice that when you tell yourself, "I can't do this," it feels almost impossible to succeed? That's not just a thought. It becomes your reality. But when you shift to, "I haven't figured this out yet, but I will," everything changes. It's not magic, it's science. Psychologists call it cognitive reframing. You're not ignoring your challenges, you're simply seeing them in a way that gives you power over them instead of the other way around. Another key to positivity is what I like to call the gratitude flip. We tend to focus on what's missing. More money, better relationships, a bigger house. But what if, instead, you flip that thinking? What if every morning you trained your brain to focus on 3 things you're genuinely grateful for? And I'm not talking about big, grand things. Sometimes it's as simple as being thankful for a good cup of coffee, or the fact that you got through another day. Over time, this rewiring helps you spot the good even in the worst situations. It's like building a mental muscle for positivity. And now let's address the elephant in the room: toxic positivity. Yes, there is such a thing as too much positivity. Telling yourself or others to just stay positive in the face of serious struggles can be counterproductive, even harmful. If someone is grieving or dealing with mental health challenges, the last thing they need is a forced smile and a pep talk about how everything happens for a reason. Real positivity isn't about dismissing pain. It's about acknowledging it while also believing in your ability to heal and grow through it. Another practical way to harness the power of positivity is through small wins. Every day won't be a victory lap, and that's okay. The trick is to recognize and celebrate small wins along the way. Finished a task you've been putting off? That's a win. Made it through a tough day without losing your temper? Another win. These moments might seem small, but they build momentum and remind you that progress is always happening, even when it feels slow. Lastly, surround yourself with positive influences. And no, I don't mean only hanging out with people who never complain. I mean those who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth. Positivity is contagious. Being around the right people pulls you up, just like negativity pulls you down. Ever notice how spending time with uplifting people leaves you feeling energized and hopeful? That's no coincidence. So, what's the takeaway here? Positivity isn't a cure-all, but it is a tool, a powerful one. It's about mindset, gratitude, small wins, and surrounding yourself with the right energy. And remember, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. You don't need to fake positivity to make progress. You just need to believe that forward is always possible. Here's something to think about. What's one area of your life where negativity has been holding you back? And what would happen if you approached that situation differently? If instead of focusing on the problem, you looked for one small positive action you could take? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be forward. And now, my friends, let's learn some vocabulary in the context of this topic we talked about today. Let's dive into some of the words and phrases that showed up throughout this topic and see how they work in everyday life. First off, we talked about toxic positivity, which refers to the forced optimism where people pretend everything is fine even when it's not. This comes up a lot when someone says things like, just stay positive, while you're going through something tough. It's essential to recognize that being overly positive isn't always helpful. Real positivity acknowledges pain, but believes in growth, which is a much healthier way to look at things. Another key phrase was mental GPS, which paints a vivid picture of how positivity can guide you through challenges. Like GPS, it doesn't erase obstacles, but it helps you find another way when things go off course. You can apply this idea by reminding yourself to reroute when things don't go according to plan, whether it's a missed deadline or an unexpected setback. We also discussed cognitive reframing, which might sound a bit technical, but is really about changing the way you see a situation. Instead of saying, I failed, you could say, I haven't succeeded yet, which shifts the focus to progress. This is useful anytime you're dealing with challenges, from work projects to personal goals, because how you talk to yourself matters more than you think. Next up, we mentioned the gratitude flip, which is all about training your brain to look for things to be thankful for, even in small moments. You might not have everything you want right now, but if you start recognizing what's already good, like a great cup of coffee or a sunny afternoon, it can change your whole perspective. This isn't about ignoring problems, but building a habit of noticing the positive. Then there's the idea of small wins. These are those little moments of progress, like finishing a chore you've been avoiding or getting through a stressful day. Recognizing these wins is important because it builds momentum. Even if the day didn't go perfectly, those tiny victories remind you that you're still moving forward, and that's what counts. And we also touched on the word mindset. A mindset is essentially the lens through which you view the world. A positive mindset helps you see opportunities instead of just roadblocks. The cool thing about mindset is that it's something you can train, just like a muscle, by practicing different ways of thinking, even when things feel tough. And let's not forget about negativity, which has a way of sneaking in and holding us back, especially when we dwell on what's going wrong. It's easy to get caught in a spiral, but this conversation is about learning to spot negativity and shift away from it with small actions. If you can change one small habit, like how you respond to stress, you start building resilience. We also talked about influences, especially the people we surround ourselves with. Being around positive influences doesn't mean you avoid people with problems. It means choosing to be with those who encourage your growth. Think about how energized you feel after hanging out with supportive friends. That's the power of positive influences in action. And here's a phrase you might find useful. It's okay not to be okay. This is a reminder that positivity isn't about pretending to be fine all the time. There's strength in admitting when you're struggling because it opens the door for healing and growth. It's a phrase you can use with yourself or with others to show empathy and create space for real conversations. And finally, we ended with forward is always possible. This is a simple but powerful mindset shift. No matter what's going on, taking one small positive step, no matter how tiny, is always within reach. Whether it's making a plan, reaching out for help, or just choosing not to give up, moving forward is always an option. Now that we've explored these words and phrases, let's think about how they show up in real life. What's one small win you've had recently that you didn't take the time to celebrate? How can you start shifting your mindset the next time negativity creeps in? And most importantly, who in your life brings out the best in you? And how can you spend more time with them? Well, my friends, this is only a small part of what we talk about in English Plus Podcast. If you want to listen to our entire back catalog, you can become a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts or Patreon. There's also a wealth of knowledge on EnglishPlusPodcast.com, from articles and audio series available in our shop to books and online courses. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Never stop learning with English Plus Podcast.